Okay, so let's try to look at this interesting question for biology paper 2. It's a special exam question that you need to know. And if you want to join my WhatsApp tuition online tuition, you can WhatsApp me on this number for external, for GCE, as well as for those who are doing A level. You just have two questions. Remember, this is section A. So the question is saying the diagram shows a longitudinal section through the human heart. We have labels X, Y, Z. So let me just try to label these parts and then explain. So for X, one thing that you need to know is that the way you're going to view the heart, you know, to say that this is the right hand side and this is the left hand side normally, but the way you're going to view the heart, it is going to be opposite. We know to say this is the right hand side, but it is going to be the left hand side of the heart. Okay, so the left side of the heart, and this is the left side normally, but it is going to be the right hand side of the heart. So meaning to say all the labels on this side, they are for the light part. Additional information, the right side of the heart carries deoxygenated blood, so it doesn't contain oxygen. Okay, it carries deoxygenated blood. So the inversely is true on the left hand side. So this one here carries oxygenated blood. Apart from that one, let me just label now the parts. So this is the vena cava. This part here is the vena cava. This is the superior vena cava. This is the inferior vena cava. This one is draining the blood from the upper limb. And this is the one which is draining the blood from the lower limb. So structure X is called the right atrium or right atria. Then we also have this part here which is going to be called as the right ventricle. And the opposite is true. So we have this part here, this one here. So this one is called the left atrium. And this Y here is going to be called as the left ventricle. Okay. Left ventricle. Then we also have the valves. We have the aortic valves as well as the ventricular valves. So these are ventricular valves and these are aortic valves. Alright, so this valve here, which is found on the left side of the heart, is called the bicuspid valve or mitral valve. Bicuspid valve, or if you don't want, you can call it as mitral valve. Then the one which is found on the right side for the ventricular valves, this one is called tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve. So in terms of the function of these valves, they prevent the backflow of the blood. So initially or normally, when blood enters here, it is going to pass through this valve here. Then again, it is going to pass through this valve, then go upward to the lungs. Okay, so this one is going to be called as the pulmonary artery, the only artery that carries deoxygenated blood. Then this is going to be called as the aorta, bifurcating into right subclavian as well as left subclavian. Then these valves here, we have this one here as aortic semilunar valve and this one as pulmonary semilunar valve. So now, initially, the heart generates the electrical impulse from this opening of the vena cava, just near the opening of the vena cava. So it has special cells which are called the SA node, sinoatrial node. These sinoatrial node are the ones that generate the electrical impulse. So this sinoatrial node, They are the pacemaker of the cell. Pacemaker of the cell. These are the ones that generate the electrical impulse for this myocardium of the heart to contract. And apart from that one, we also have these walls of the heart. So these walls of the heart, they are made up of cardiac muscles. So the heart is made up of cardiac muscles. Then in terms of the thickness between the left hand side as well as the right hand side, initially or normally the left hand side is thicker than the right hand side because this one pumps blood at the highest pressure, and the left side it has a thin wall. So as you can see, the thickness are opposite in this diagram. This is because it may be due to hypertrophy of the right ventricle. So this hypertrophy, it can be caused by different factors. Okay? As a result, you find that the person is going to have heart failure because these muscles on the left hand side, they are not muscular compared to the right hand side. So labeling the parts, let me just label this one, the last one, which is the pulmonary vein. So this pulmonary vein, to be specific, it is the left pulmonary vein, and this is the right pulmonary vein. So this is the one which is bringing blood from the lungs. So it is going to enter like this and then go up, and this is the aorta. And then the aorta is going to bifurcate into right subclavian and left subclavian and right subclavian, then pump to all parts of the body. So identify the parts labeled X, Y, and Z. So for X, this one is the right atrium or right atrium. You can say atria or atrium. Then for Y, Y is the left ventricle. Then for Z, Z to be specific, it is left pulmonary vein. And this is the only vein that carries oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. Then where does the electrical impulses of the heart originate from? So the electrical impulse of the heart originates from the SA node, which are the pacemaker of the heart. The pacemaker cells of the heart. Pacemaker cells of the heart. So are the ones that generate electrical impulse for these myocardium or the heart to contract. Then state two effects of eating food containing a lot of lipids. Number one, this one is going to lead to obesity. When you're eating a lot of food containing lipids, it is going to lead to obesity or obesity. And obesity is linked to insulin resistant. That is one thing that you need to know. So meaning to say those people are obese. I'm not saying all of them, but there are some people who are obese and they have insulin resistance. Okay, which is diabetes type 2. Then another thing, cholesterol level, high level of cholesterol, which can cause coronary heart disease, isn't it? So high cholesterol level, which can cause coronary heart disease or cardiovascular disease in short. And then for question D, it is asking us to differentiate the oxygen content between X and Y. So X is the right atrium, Y is the left ventricle. Remember, the left side carries oxygenated blood, the right side carries deoxygenated blood. So we are going to say X carries deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood. Then whereas Y carries oxygenated blood. So this is the difference in terms of the content of X and Y. Then from there we are done for question 1. For question 2, it is asking us to say a diagram shows some storage organs in plants. So we have P, Q and R. So the first question, we have been taught to define what growth is. So what is growth, by the way? So when you talk of growth, this one refers to the permanent increase in the size or the dry mass of a living organism. So when someone is growing, they don't go back to their childhood, isn't it? The mass of the body is going to increase, or the dry mass is going to increase, isn't it? So you find that it is going to be permanent. That's the reason why we are saying the permanent increase in the size of the mass or the dry mass of a living organism. So we can say permanent increase in size. Apart from size, we can also talk of dry mass, the dry mass, or number of cells, increase in the number of cells, of an organism. That is growth. Then for question B, it is asking us to identify the food storage organs P, Q and R. So as you can see, this one is looking like what? It's looking like ginger, isn't it? This one is looking like ginger, but I'm not saying the answer is ginger. It's looking like ginger. So ginger, in terms of the storage organ, it follows the lysosome, okay, or lysosome. So let me say not lysosome but lysome. So for the lysome, we can say, e.g., can give an example of ginger. Ginger is an example of lysosome, or let me say not lysosome but lysome. Then for Q, this one here is a tuber. It's looking like a potato, isn't it? A potato. It's looking like a potato. So a potato, it is a stem tuber, or in short you can say a tuber. So it can be the stem tuber, or we can just say this one is the tuber. Then e.g., we can give an example of a potato or sweet potato. So the sweet potatoes, of course, those are learners, but in terms of the way they make these tubers, it's going to be a tuber also. Then the last one, this one looks like an onion, isn't it? This one looks like an onion. So an onion is a comb, or we can say a bulb. So it can be a comb or a bulb. Then e.g., we can give an example of an onion. So this is how you're supposed to classify these. Then what type of reproduction is being demonstrated above? So in terms of this one here, so this is a sibling. It is coming out from this parent here. Okay, so the type of reproduction is going to be asexual. There is no fusion of the male gamete and female gamete here, so it's asexual reproduction. And thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe for more videos.